Hey, welcome back. Welcome. Have you guys been having a good day? Are you feeling Compos Mentis? Well, I hope so. And don't forget, if you are pointing one finger, you have three pointing back. Let's get into these law documents. Sarah Boone is still scraping, scrambling, and clawing and fighting for her life in her last chance in her family law case. So let's see the handwritten motions that she's written and how the judge may feel about them. This is going to be a cry out for help from Sarah for the judge to understand her predicament, meaning maybe putting someone in a suitcase and leaving them there and then being held accountable for it. Maybe that's what she means. She wants the judge to understand her predicament. So let's look at this document that Sarah has written herself. Remember, she no longer has James Owens and the team or the girls, and Lana is no longer there to help her. So she's doing this all pro se inmate. Sarah K. Boone, respondent, May 19th, 2025. Motion for court to understand respondent's predicament regarding her financial affidavit and accept handwritten document being mailed in the meantime of actual received formally. Comes now pro se respondent Sarah K. Boone and respectfully requests that this honorable court understand her predicament of being incarcerated and the extreme difficulties contained therein, as she has made the court aware previously in other motions. For this, her financial affidavit being submitted to the court as ordered. Until the respondent has the ability to formally and properly submit this document, she is asking for the court's understanding and submits the following information for application of. And now Sarah goes on to list her grievances, as we know she does so well, as she likes to fight for her rights. The respondent 1. Has no access or ability to print this document. In hopes of doing so, she has made the following communications and attempts with A. The DOC officers at her housing dorm. B. The DOC supervisors of her unit as a whole. Sidebar, DOC is Department of Corrections. C. Her DOC classifications officer 2 times. D. The warden of the DOC compound overall. E. Clerks in the DOC law library. F. The manager of the DOC law library. Sarah is letting it be known that she has checked all boxes. So this can't be her fault, right? She's a victim, right? At this point, she can't be at fault. It's A, B, C, D, E, and F's fault, right? Or is it that she doesn't have her trusty personal assistant anymore? I don't know. Okay, let's get back to it. That's the end of number 1, A through F. Now, number 2, respondent sent a handwritten letter to the clerk of courts requesting this family law document on April 11th, 2025, with no response or form to date. 3, outside resources or on respondent's behalf sent an email to the clerk of courts for this law form also with no response. Another email was sent May 12th, 2025. So I wonder who that was on the outside that helped. 4. As recorded in a previous motion by respondent, Sarah K. Boone, for court-appointed counsel, which was denied. No paperwork can be received by an inmate except from an attorney or the court directly. She has multiple third-party resources who were able to print/send to her, but is restricted by the Department of Corrections to receive and... Oh, Sarah... but is restricted by the DLC to receive and in which counsel could send on her behalf, which she does not have. 5. Respondent's delay in sending this motion for awareness is due to the time lag response by all aforementioned parties she has contacted to complete the court's order for this document. She is still waiting for responses, but wanted to show good faith effort in updating court. Your Honor, my client's going to testify in good faith.
Times.
In good faith, with discussions with my client, we believe there is going to be evidence of an overt act, that she was facing imminent threat, and she reacted based on that threat.
Understood. Your response to Exhibit B.
So look at B. Which one's B?
It's her on the back porch with the 2 dogs.
Judge, not only did he abuse, your story is abused.
That's not the issue. The issue is that the state represented that it was not part of your exhibit list.
Page 3. The respondent's handwritten financial affidavit document information is being mailed on Monday, May 19th, 2025, via legal mail. Wherefore, respondent has exhausted her means of production of this actual and physical document as ordered for her family law case, and respectfully request that this honorable court understands her predicament in not receiving and accept her handwritten document via uses containing the information to be used and reviewed as necessary and by whom needed. Sidebar. We actually looked over that handwritten financial document. That's where she claimed $18,000. I think that's episode 28, but it's labeled family law. You can check it out. But what do you guys think so far? How is Sarah doing without Lana, James, and the girls? Oh, she has the Delphines. Okay, back to the messages. Once the respondent has the ability to print and complete and send the physical documents, she will do so immediately. She is also still waiting to receive a response from the clerk's office or this financial affidavit form in the mail to forward to the court upon expedited completion. Respectfully submitted this 19th day of May 2025. Sarah Boone, pro se respondent, pro se inmate, former mother, former wife. I added that little tidbit at the end, but what do you guys think? How is Sarah handling herself? Does she have a shot? Should she have a shot at potentially having her minor son come into the prison facility for a visit? And it's not bad. Children visit facilities. We aren't gonna even go there. However, she's serving a life sentence for a horrendous crime that most likely affected the child, and it's just been about a year. So do you think it's too soon? Well, most of us think it's too soon. Let's check out the certificate of service. You know that's very important to Sarah. I didn't receive my certificate of service. How did the media know before I knew? My bunk got kicked at 3 a.m. Certificate of service. I hereby certify A true and correct copy of this document has been mailed via USPS to Honorable Judge LaShonda K. Jackson and will be emailed to counsel for petitioner via the Clerk of Court's e-portal system upon receipt. And as you can see on the screen, she signed it, Sarah Boone, pro se respondent. Joshua J. Martell, Esquire, is her appeals attorney, but he is mentioned here. Does anybody have any update about that? I thought that Peter from the Delphines was helping her with her family law case, and Joshua Martell was her appeals attorney. Oh, and sidebar, big hugs and kisses to everybody who joined my lives this week. We will be doing it again, but the lives created a lot of conversation, generated a lot of questions. One was, who put Sarah Boone's items, her expensive heirlooms from Tillwood apartment? Who paid for it, packed it up, and put it in the storage facility? And would that person be legally responsible for her items? Because she's claiming that she has upwards of $10,000 worth of items in that storage facility. So that is my only concern with family law. If you have any information about that, please leave a comment below. If you have any questions, leave a comment below so that we all can get in the know before family court. It's coming soon, and we will have a play-by-play of what Sarah looks like, what she says, how she acts, because our girl Tanika will be sitting, hopefully, front row seat so that Sarah can see her at the family law trial. Nonetheless, so we know what to plan on in the meantime, let's look at some of these subscriber comments. We have a really serious comment that I want to discuss with you guys. More like a submission, but right now, just get a kick out of this. This is from Eric the actor, one of my people. Shout out to you, Eric. And it's like he's interviewing Sarah. So Eric says, Sarah, you are on trial for M. If convicted, you can be given a life sentence. How are you going to defend yourself? Sarah, we need to closely monitor YouTube. I need to know what people are commenting, and let's try to win some channels over to our side. Okay, have you found anything that can help your case in the discovery you begged for? Sarah, nope, I haven't opened it. I haven't opened it yet. I have been too busy trying to get internet access so I can comment on videos about me. Your trial starts in less than a month. When are you going to start working on it? Sarah, I excel at everything. What's that got to do with anything? Sarah, I don't think you understand who I am. Sidebar, do you guys remember when Sarah was in court and Judge K actually asked her about her discovery, and she said she hadn't gotten to it yet, but it was on her to-do list. She was very upset the laptop only gave her access to the USB drives, and that stuff must have been boring for her. Oh, and sending a big, huge shout out to Christopher. Hey, Chris. Always love to see you in the comments. And I'm having a Dr. Pepper tonight, and that's courtesy of you. Shout out to you. And Christopher said what I think we all pretty much are thinking. Can't get enough of Sarah Boone. Thank you for your post. And thank you for always, you're giving me your support. And everyone, I love you guys. You're my people. which is why I definitely wanted to discuss this submission by Pinky. And Dan initially wrote a comment. Hey Dan, shout out to you. And it was about Christina, just stating why he thought Sarah didn't take the deal. So let's read this. Dan said, I think it may have been Christina that talked her out of the deal because she was so adamant that she was going to get off. The reasoning behind this is that Christina had Bishass Cashman as her attorney, and apparently Cashman offered her a deal or encouraged her to take a deal. Christina denied it and ended up walking free. We saw some of those messages where Sarah messaged her brother and said, my friend went home today, no charges, scot-free. So I think since she thought she had Cashman as her attorney, that was going to happen with her as well. Now, we all know that it didn't work out that way. Yay! Congratulations to the prosecution. However, let's get into this reader submission, and I'm going to tell you that I'm issuing a trigger warning because this message is really heavy. So, listen with caution. Pinky responds to Dan's comment and she says, you are spot on in my eyes. Sarah didn't seem to understand that Christina Pina had totally different charges than her. I've done my own deep dive into Christina, public records /Reddit, and other sites, other sites that didn't cost me money because I am really on a budget. During my research, I found out that Christina never really had a good chance at life. Christina had a hard life from what I could figure out. I feel so bad for her. I really, really do. In the saga of the Sarah K. Boone, I find Christina to be the quote-unquote one made-up victim that really deserves to be made a victim. Brian/Lana and such don't fit the victim category for me. However, Christina does. If you were to rewatch her statement at Sarah's sentencing, her body language and her statement tells a story all on its own. Sidebar, do you guys remember the sentencing? She was really choked up, she couldn't talk, and was swaying side to side and holding her arms behind her back. If you were to rewatch her statement at Sarah's sentencing, her body language and her statement tells a story all on its own. Okay. I refer to Christina as a girl because I don't think that she was afforded the opportunity to develop into a woman, even now. I pray that she just gets away from Sarah. I really do. Christina was used on the outside by a man, and then she was used by Sarah in jail. Who can be angry with someone who's been abused so horribly? Christina was used for years. The psychological things that did to her brain actually turned her into a user herself, which I know sounds weird, but it did happen. Christina's crime was recruiting other girls for her quote-unquote boyfriend. That's the person who used Christina. And sidebar, we're substituting used for another word that a woman or a person never wants to happen to them against their own will. That's the person who used Christina. The reason Christina received time served is because she never should have been in jail. She should have been in a mental hospital to help deal with the crimes that was pretty much forced upon her to commit. The horrible man who was her quote-unquote boyfriend still has a hold on her, as does Sarah. Christina is still easily manipulated, and she's still a child in a way. I feel bad for Christina. I hope that she will wake up and truly get away from Sarah, but there's a reason why Florida let Christina go with time served. Crazy that Sarah and Lana thought that Christina's case was something to look at and say, well, Cashman did Christina wrong, and therefore, futuristically, with it being dark, the entire Sarah Boone will have the same results. So, now that we're looking at the Sarah Boone case in hindsight, Do you think that could have contributed to why we got the reject in the hearing that day? Why she thought she was going to walk away? And as far as the motion to understand, do you understand a little more that Sarah is hindered by her current housing situation? And will that affect her upcoming family law case? Are we all ready for the family law case? I know I am.